This Battle of the Bulge presentation was created and presented by Nolan and Jessi. The Volkssturm is known as the Home Guard. The Nazi Party required service from all males aged 16 to 60. This large group would end up fighting alongside the army as part of the Germans' last-ditch effort to stop the Allies. This is the armband that they wore to distinguish themselves from the army. The armband reads in English, "German people stormed armed forces."
Where? Out of the 600-mile front, the Germans chose Ardennes to strike. The Allies would not expect a large attack there due to the woods and hilly territory. The hills benefited their strategy of using tanks. The one disadvantage would be the narrow roads that created bottlenecks. This would cause problems for the Germans later on. The Germans wanted to reach Antwerp, Belgium, but could not break the Allied line.
The line. The line as seen on the map did not break, but did certainly bulge. This is where the name of the battle comes from. Battles. The German offensive relied on a swift victory, but 3 key battles slowed down the Germans. The first was Elsenborn Ridge. Elsenborn Ridge was an area of high ground and important narrow roads. The Germans needed to gain control of these roads so that they could quickly move their tanks. However, Allied artillery and stubborn defenders stopped the Germans and jammed up all the roads. The Germans needed a new way around. St. Vith is the second battle, and it was a crossroad village south of Elsenborn Ridge. Allied forces, along with Icy's roads, held back the Germans until December 21st, when the Allies were finally forced to retreat due to being surrounded. However, they still slowed down the Germans and allowed the Allies time to regroup. Still further south, the Third Battle of Bastogne happened in a crossroads town held by Americans. These Americans put up stiff resistance even after being completely encircled. Eventually, the troops were rescued, and Bastogne was used to launch the counterattack that would end the Battle of the Bulge. This counterattack and lack of fuel for the Germans were a winning combination for the Allies.
Here is a map of the Bulge. You can see Bastogne completely surrounded and St. Vith equally surrounded to the north. Despite their appearance, they both proved valuable due to all the German resources they sucked up. This piece of artillery was the largest U.S. field gun during World War II and was called a Black Dragon. Artillery like this helped defend Elsenborn Ridge.
Aftermath. After exhausting most of her resources, Germany was unable to compete in the air, allowing the Allies to control the skies for the rest of the war. This defeat was the last offensive for Germany, which led them to be on the defensive for the rest of the war. Germany fell in a couple months, which is not very long after this turning point. Germany fell on May 7, 1945.
Legacy. The Bulge is remembered as one of the bloodiest battles of the war. It is also the costliest operation of the U.S. Army, which had about 100,000 casualties.